You are listening to The Vibe, a 21 News podcast talking about Valley entertainment, pop culture, and everything in between.
Hello and welcome back to WFMJ's The Vibe, our new-ish lifestyle podcast, now our fourth episode here at The Vibe. I am one of your hosts, Jimmy Wendolek.
And I am your second co-host, Jodie White. And on this episode of The Vibe, we are going to be talking about something that everyone loves to do in the summer, concerts. Yeah, and so today we are joined with the president of the JAC, Eric Ryan, and also Sunrise Entertainment's marketing manager, Alyssa Connelly-Bissett.
So before we get into the concerts that they have coming up and just all the different events and options that you have around the Mahoning Valley this summer, we're going to take a trip back in time to our concerts of past. So our icebreaker question for the day, what is the first concert that you've ever been to? So we'll give our guests a chance to answer first. So one of you want to take the lead here?
Go ahead.
So I have two answers. Technically, my first ever concert that I went to was called Sharon Lois and Bram and the Elephant Show.
I went there too.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
Skinnamarinky
glad that
dinky
you're
dink.
familiar because I was like, nobody's going to know what I'm talking about. But it was a very hit kids show in the 80s.
Big hit.
I remember the live show was awesome, but I guess like real answer would be NSYNC. I was 13 years old and they were at Three Rivers Stadium. Boy band.
Okay.
And they were awesome.
You're speaking my vibe. Well,
Yeah.
Eric, what about you?
You know, this is a debate in our family. It's one of two things. We don't know which one came first, but first was either Sha Na Na at the front row. I know I'm dating myself a little bit, but the Bowser used to do this thing, and I in the front row had a stage in the middle of, it was like 360. You ever been there? It was
No, but
really
my parents
amazing.
talk.
It was either that or, believe it or not, Rick Springfield, who we have coming to the Youngstown Foundation Amphitheater next Saturday. So my sister and I are debating, and my brother, which one came first. But I'll say Rick Springfield just for this.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for bringing us back to your past. My first concert was New Kids on the Block, second row. I was a big fan of Jordan, but I was also at Sharon Lois and Bram, and I sat on Bram's side, and it was a lot of fun, and I forgot about that, so thank you for bringing that back to my attention. Jimmy, what about
I have
you?
no idea who those people
I'll
are.
show you later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Different generation, I
Yeah.
guess, here. So my first concert, Sabrina Carpenter, she's really big now.
Yeah.
This was like 5, 6, 7 years ago, before she was like really big and blew up. My sister was a big fan of her, but from the TV show that she was on Disney. So she found out that she was performing at Hershey Park in Pennsylvania. So I'm from New Jersey originally, so we made the couple-hour drive over. We saw Sabrina Carpenter. We left, and I was like, okay, cool. Now she'll probably never be anything important. And now here we are in 2025, and she's on top of the Billboard charts.
And you left before the headliner.
Yes, she was not the headline act. The headline act was Shawn Mendes.
Oh.
Back in mid 2010s fame.
yeah.
So we did not even see the headliner. She was the opening act. Yeah.
Okay.
So look at that now.
I love Well, that was really great
Yeah.
to listen to all of your first concerts. I know that is a first question that a lot of people like to ask.
Yeah.
And this summer is just so exciting. I'm excited for summer weather and summer concerts. That is a big thing that we love to do.
Chance to make some new concert memories.
Yeah, so, okay, let's start with Alyssa. So, Sunrise Entertainment, the Warren Amphitheater. What do you guys have going on this month of June?
Yeah, so we have kicked off our River Rock at the Amp concert series in downtown Warren, as you said, and it is the 16th season that Sunrise Entertainment has been putting on this concert series, and we have it all going on in this month of June. Last weekend, of course, we had Michael Jackson and Prince. It was a huge event, lots of dancing, an amazing show happening at the Warren Amphitheater, and so this upcoming weekend, we have Best of Times tribute to Styx, and then Escape tribute to Journey, always a huge night. Everybody loves those Journey hits. They're singing along in our beautiful venue, so that's going to be really fun. And then that is our last show of June. And then we have shows running all summer long, July through August. So.
I know the May concerts were off to a bit of a rainy start, so hopefully we can pack the amphitheater for June, July, and beyond.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's always the risk you take, having outdoor events, you know, in this area. But people still come out. It was 40 degrees on our opening night, and people will still out in their coats just rocking. And so it's always a good time, regardless of the weather. So.
Yeah, and that's really like a big thing. Both, I feel like, venues at this point are almost staples in both communities, both the Warren Community Amphitheater and then the Youngstown Amphitheater here for people to come to, get together in the summer, just get outside and have a little bit of fun. So that's what's going on up in Warren in June. Eric, what do you guys have coming up first portion of the summer here?
Yeah, you know, we're starting a campaign called Summer Starts with a Song, and that's just really to highlight that how many events are really going on in the Valley is pretty incredible. And I think that there's something for everybody. You know, we started our amphitheater, Youngstown Foundation Amphitheater season last week with the absolute sold out to the hills Riley Green concert, which was absolutely amazing. 5,000 plus people, you know, estimated 1,000 people outside. They couldn't even get in the gate. Downtown Youngstown was on fire that night, which was pretty amazing.
I saw some photos.
Yeah.
And it was packed. You had a great night weather-wise.
Yes, yes. And then we had Lita Ford the next night. Unfortunately, it was really, really cold on Saturday. And then Coheed and Cambria, which was a rock show, did pretty well. But, you know, looking ahead, you know, we have so many events, concerts like Rick Springfield, I mentioned that, and you know, we have the Happy Gilmore movies, we have Alice Cooper, we have the Panerathon, you know, we have Brad Paisley and Leonard Skinner coming up at the Campfield Fair.
Yeah.
But you know, there's so many events that we do, and we do a lot of community events too, and really, I think a lot of free community events, which is very important to us. So we have over 45 events, just JAC alone, in the venues we have from now till September. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, a lot of different ways for people to get outside and enjoy. And you mentioned Rick Springfield. He was here last year, wasn't he? Last
2 years ago.
2 summers ago.
Yes.
Because I remember my parents came out. They went to the concert here when he was here. So what's that process kind of like for the both of you to be able to book these artists and book these bands to get them in?
Yeah, so as I said, this is our 16th season managing River Rock at the Amp. And so every year it's a little bit of a challenge to bring back the bands that you know people are going to want to see and also introduce something different. We try to not have the exact same lineup every year, but it is difficult because say we don't have one of our big bands, people are like, where are they?
Right.
But if we have the same bands, people want something different, which is understandable. So it's always like a toss-up. And River Rock at the Amp is primarily classic rock. So we do a lot from the 70s, 80s, 90s, but we're trying to modernize a little bit. Look out for some new groups that have new tribute bands, because that's what River Rock is tribute bands to these artists.
Okay.
And so this year we have some modern shows I'm really excited about. We actually, some of us mentioned boy bands that we saw as our first concerts. We have a tribute to boy bands coming up later this summer. They do Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and New Kids on the Block.
98
they
Degrees.
do One Direction.
Okay.
Yeah, 98 Degrees. And then we also have a tribute to Morgan Wallen, who is obviously like a contemporary modern country star right now. So it's always a mix of classic music, modern music, classic rock, country, pop, disco. We always have an amazing disco band. So it's a really fun process to see what's going to be hitting next summer and what people are going to want to come out to see.
Yeah, trying to get that different variety for all the different tastes, because it's such a big area here where people are coming from all over the place to come to these central locations. So trying to find that variety, right?
Yeah, for us, certainly it's about the variety, but we're dealing with most national touring artists. And at the end of the day, if you have somebody going out on tour for a 30-day, you know, like we have Tim McGraw coming. Now, he's more of a one-off for our Y Live concert that we do every year. But in the arena or at the amphitheater or at Packard Music Hall, a lot of times we're doing touring shows. And what that looks like, if somebody's on a 30 or 45-day, you know, tour, you know, you put an offer in, you put your best foot forward. If the show is out there, we're making an offer for it. There is an offer to bring it to Youngstown in one way or the other. But when they're only doing select amount of dates, it's difficult. And, I tell people all the time that if you love a genre of music, and we do it, if you love jazz, come to our Jazz Fest. Even if you don't like the artist or it may not be your favorite,
Right.
come and support it, because what happens is success stories sell shows in our world. So you really need, why do we do so much country? Because country sells. People come, they enjoy it, you sell a lot of tickets, guess what? The artists want to be here, And so for them to pick you, for them to pick Youngstown to come to, or the Valley to come to, or the Canfield Fair, or Robbins Theater, or the Amphitheater, you need those shows to do good, and that's really what we live on. Every day we're always telling the success stories we've had in order to attract more artists to come.
Yeah. All right. So, who was the biggest artist that you guys ever booked?
That's tough. I would say probably Elton John.
Wow.
Yeah, when we first booked Elton John back in 2010, it really put us on the map from the standpoint of major artists being out. We're only, at the arena in a 360, we're a 7,000 seat. So people always say, why don't you book Taylor Swift? Well, I'd love to.
Right.
That
That
just
would be
give me
amazing.
50,000 more seats. But Elton John was probably the highlight of it. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
fun.
So when do you guys start thinking about the upcoming artists for like this season? When did you start booking them?
We're starting on 2026 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, those offers are already out. The schedule's already being designed, because it takes that long, really, to design the season and get all the contracts in place,
Yeah.
everything like that, for sure.
Yeah, and for us, national touring shows used to book 3 to 5 months out. You would be working now. You can see it. You can see you have shows on sale for next year, and so it's becoming farther out, and we're pretty much working on next spring right now. So it's pretty amazing.
It really never
Yeah.
stops, right?
No, it never stops.
The job never stops.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you mentioned Y Live coming up later this summer with Tim McGraw. So that had to delay that show last year.
Yes.
So how excited are you guys to be able to get that in, get that going again this summer?
We're very excited. We already have plenty of tickets sold, and we're getting ready to announce the opening acts and some other very good surprises that go with it in the next week or so. So we'll keep you guys informed on that. But Y Live is such a massive event for the city of Youngstown. And 2 years ago we did Kid Rock and 22,000 people downtown, and it was really amazing. So we're excited to bring it back this year. Unfortunately, we had to postpone it because of the tragedy that we had here downtown. But glad that Tim McGraw and his camp stuck with us, and we're looking forward to a fantastic show.
Yeah, and you mentioned briefly in there, bringing people down into the city. So for both Youngstown and Warren, just having these music venues here, bringing all the people into town, what impact does that have on maybe some of the businesses and everything else happening in downtown Youngstown and Warren?
Well, we really benefit from it because I work for Sunrise Entertainment, and we got the name because my boss, Ken Hyderis, is a co-owner of the Sunrise Inn in downtown Warren, which is a restaurant. If anybody out there doesn't
pizza
know,
in the
Love
world.
the
right?
pizza.
The pizza. I should have brought.
Big fan.
I should
Yeah,
have brought us
come on.
all pizza. But not only the Sunrise, but all of the businesses, all the restaurants and bars in downtown Warren flourish when we have a show, whether it be at the Amp or the Robbins or Packard Music Hall. The hotel, there's hotels, around, and all of it sees a boom in economic growth when we have shows. So it's been a really great thing for the city as a whole, I think. Yeah.
Yes, especially downtown Youngstown. We're excited for the summer season, for our mental awareness as well. I love being outside, getting some sunshine. Even if it's cold and chilly, I'm still going to an outdoor show. We only have a few months to do so, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and in Youngstown, you can almost combine some of the events at the amphitheater happening with the First Fridays happening downtown and some of those other events. So how does that all play into it?
Yeah, and now we have the Dora, which is
Right.
really last weekend went off without a hitch. Great, so now people can come to the amphitheater, enjoy these shows in our First Fridays that we're doing, which is free to get in, which is wonderful. And then you can leave, walk right down Phelps, go right on to Federal, and and with your beverage in hand, which is pretty cool. And so we're excited about that. But the economic impact, we've done studies where they say, for every ticket sold, there's like $70 that is spent in the community on average. And when you start to thinking about that, our impact for the Valley will be nearly $5 million over the next 4 months. That is a pretty incredible number. And it's not just the concerts. It's also in March at the Connelly Center, we do 2 weekends of middle school and elementary school wrestling, which is another story. Because you want to talk about security. Like, I could secure the biggest rock show in the world easier than I can secure parents that little Jimmy
I'm sure.
little Jimmy hasn't lost ever in his life, and then he's from somewhere in southern Ohio, and he's got to face anyway. But yeah, that's another story in itself. But I will tell you, every hotel is sold out in the Valley, right? Every restaurant is packed. I mean, literally, we'll bring 20,000 people a weekend through the arena, and those kind of things a lot of times people don't really pay attention to. But when you talk about Disney on Ice, and you talk about a lot of these things that we have that really drive the economics of the Valley, is really important.
Yeah.
We love Disney on Ice. I took my family here to the Connelly Center to see it, and we were also there for the WFMJ Today morning show, and it's just always such a hit, such a big show, and everybody does come together. You feel like you're in Disney. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if people are looking at, the summer rundown, getting tickets for these shows, are they able to purchase these almost directly through you guys on your own websites, or are those things that the artists are selling themselves?
We sell our tickets at riverrockattheamp.com, and they are also always on sale at the Sunrise Inn. Stop by, get some pizza and your tickets for River Rock. They are also on sale at the Eastwood Mall at their customer service center, and you can always buy them at the gate. We've never sold out a show at River Rock, so don't even worry about it being sold out. Just come on down anytime to get your tickets.
Okay. And then the Canfield Fair, I know tickets are already on sale. We're really excited about the entertainment this year.
Yeah. All of our events, you can go to the individual websites of the facility, or you can go to Ticketmaster, ticketmaster.com. And this is great you're asking this question, because I will tell you, the biggest thing that promoters or building managers don't like is the secondary market.
Wow.
Do not buy scalper. Do not buy scalper tickets. Make sure you go to the ConnellyCenter.com website that is on the right, that is verified, or go right to Ticketmaster.com and buy your tickets at face value. Do not go to the secondary sites. And it's really a big problem when you have a completely sold out show and somebody walks up and they have their 13-year-old daughter with them, and they say, these tickets aren't working, and all of a sudden they bought them from a scalper that was not verified, and the next thing you know, you have no seat to put them in. We can't create more seats. When we sell out, we sell out. So go to Ticketmaster.com or go to ConnellyCenter.com, JACLiveEvents.com. Any of those ways you can do it. The Youngstown Foundation Amphitheater, and it'll take you to sorry. Or PackardMusicHall.com. Any of the events we do are on Ticketmaster.
I couldn't agree more. It's such a problem. And not only can we not guarantee you a seat if you buy from one of those scalper websites, but they jack up the price. We work so hard to keep our ticket costs affordable. Like at the Amp, our most expensive ticket is $15, but if you buy it from one of these scalper websites, it could be 2 or 3 or 4 times that. And I always feel bad when people have lost all this money.
Okay, lesson learned.
Yes.
We are buying from the website or Ticketmaster.
From the website, yes.
So make sure to buy all your tickets, both up in Trumbull County. You want to head out to the Warren Community Amphitheater, come on down to downtown Youngstown, here in Mahoning County, or just everywhere. Just go all over the place.
Correct.
This summer, I guess, is the key message. See all the different types of music. So, guys, thank you both for coming on in today. It was a pleasure learning about everything that's coming up this summer.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys bringing the Sunrise Entertainment and the JAC to all of our listeners and viewers. And remember, you guys can always find any of the 21 New podcasts anywhere where you listen to the podcast, YouTube, and etc.
Yeah, so we'll be dropping this on YouTube. You can watch the video file, or you can just listen to us while you go on a walk if you want to do that too.
Yeah.
Or maybe both. Maybe all of it.
All right, or on your way to one of the entertainments this summer
is true.
season.
There you
Okay,
go.
well, remember to always vibes and subscribes, and thank you for listening and watching 21 News, The Vibe.